I can only describe how I'm feeling in 4 letters. I'm good, and evidently I should.
Welcome, it's the Close the Deal show. I'm your host, Terrence McCray, rebranding from incarceration. Every week we bring you business information, tips, and insights from entrepreneurs, business professionals, and inspired individuals from the San Francisco Bay Area, as well as in Los Angeles and beyond. The Close the Deal show also features public announcements, Entrepreneur Week, and small businesses. And if you're looking for strategies to help you in business, or educate the public, then you're in the right place. Thank you for joining us today. Today's topic is overcoming obstacles in business. Please allow me to introduce a person of change. LeRon Butner is a writer and speaker committed to fighting for social justice and racial equality. LeRon has published articles in Black Enterprise and TED Talks on YouTube. LeRon has overcome an obstacle that many encounter daily and have had a hard time not only overcoming it, but speaking openly about it. LeRon has not only overcame his fear, but he did it a TED Talk about it. How I overcome the fear of my stutter has been viewed over 87,000 times on YouTube. So let's check out this video real briefly.
Thank you. My name is LeRon Barton. I've been interviewed on over 50 podcasts. I'm a regular contributor to a weekly news radio show. I've given talks at the University of San Francisco. I've been a part of panel discussions. I participated in workshops addressing mass incarceration. I've appeared on Al Jazeera. And I've performed in open mics all across the country. I've done all this while having a stutter. For those who don't know what stuttering is, the National Institute of Deafness and Communication Disorders defines it as a speech disorder characterized by sounds, syllables, or words. Prolongation of sounds and interruption of speech known as blocks. Over 70 million people worldwide stutter. That's 1% of the population. And at this time, there's no cure for it. Having a stutter is to not only think about what you're going to say, but how you're going to say it.
Wow. That is truly, truly an amazing, amazing accomplishment. Welcome to the show, LeRon.
Thank you very much for having me, Mr. McCray. Really appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Could you share light on most people with a speech impediment avoid speaking in public? What motivated you to become a public spokesperson?
Well, it's a couple things. It's funny. Like when I was younger, like I didn't talk a lot, right? And so my mother took me to the doctor, and she was like, "Yo, like why is he not talking?" And the doctor was like, "Well, he'll talk when he's ready." And so after that, she's like, "Now you just want to shut up." But it's like for me. It's a challenge. I mean, the fact that I've been having this for over, 41. I've been probably stuttering since I was 6, and I just realized that I'm not gonna let this stop me. Like having a TEDx, like doing a TEDx, was one of my life's goals. I had heard a TED talk. The first one I had heard was forget the fellow's name, but it was talking about. Education is not an evolution as a revolution. I'm sorry, it was Sir Ken Robinson. And I was just blown away. And so I said, you know what, I want to do a TED Talk. And I just felt that by me having a stutter, by me being able to just say, you know what, I'm not going to let this stop me. I'm going to move how I want to move. And I just did it. So I just wanted people to know that even if you have a speech impediment, you could still do this.
Did you have any doubt that in the beginning this was not possible?
No. So What's interesting is that how the TEDx became real is like my lady Michelle. She has a friend named Rami. Hello, Rami. She's a wonderful mother, and one of Rami's daughters, I believe, Charlie. Charlie had a book, How to Get a TEDx, and for me, Terrence, that just kind of made it real. And so I got on a mailing list, a guy by the name of Taylor Conroy, and I applied to like 3 TEDx's, and I believe the second or third one that I applied to, I got. So it's just really just realizing, just having a goal and just not giving up on that goal, you know.
So that's what it sounds like to me.
Word.
Since you first realized that you had an impediment,
Right.
you never gave up on yourself.
Nah, man. I mean, like, for me, look, like, I'm from Southside Kansas City. You know, it's kind of a rough neighborhood, and you know, grew up in poverty. And one thing that my mother kind of instilled in me was to not give up. You know what I mean? Like, you know, look, there's so many things that are possible, Terrence. You just have to just put the work in, and it's one of those things where if you have a goal, find out how to achieve the goal, write down the steps for the goal, implement those steps, and you should achieve the goal. And if you don't the first time around, then just keep trying. You know?
Well, tell us the first time you spoke publicly, and who was the audience?
You know what's funny? Probably the first time that I spoke publicly was in high school. My teacher Stan Banks is a wonderful guy. He's like a father figure to me. He would have us go to these coffee shops or go to Barnes and Noble and recite poetry. And so I would go to these open mics, and I would recite my work, and I became really comfortable with it. This was starting in the 11th grade, and that kind of conditioned me. And so the first time that I seriously spoke was I was invited to speak for the University of San Francisco. This was a Black and Asian alliance sort of workshop. And I was talking about an article that I had written about African Americans and Asians coming together to fight racism, and so that was the first time that I was invited to talk, and I thought that it was really cool. I mean, you know, being able to talk about these things that I'm really passionate about in front of people, it just really it was a really good thing, and yeah, you know, like. The interesting thing about speaking, Terrence, is like every time you do it, you get a chance to get better, right? So it's like this is something that I like to do. So I mean, just imagine, like, you know, if you're a kid and you want to ride a bike, you know, the first time you ride it, you may fall, and you're not going to say, you know what, this ain't for me. I'm not doing this no more. No, you will more than likely get back on the bike and you'll start riding again in it. And so that's what made me just want to just keep going, man.
I can imagine. That's how I feel about my own show as well, despite, you know, trial and error during the process of building it. In your business experience,
Yes, sir.
Have you encountered any repercussions related to your speech impediment?
So yeah, there have been times where I went for interviews. I've stuttered, and you know, they didn't proceed to the next round. I mean, there's one part in particular, and it's funny, man. It's like God works in really mysterious ways. This company, I'm not gonna name the name. They're kind of in trouble right now. But I interviewed for a position there, and the young lady who I interviewed for, she gave the notes to the recruiter, and she's like, yeah. He kept saying, yeah, and you know, that's sometimes when I'm nervous, I say, well, I mean, it's sort of a word filler, but it's me sort of getting around to the next word. So, yeah, you know, there have been times where I've been nervous to not want to do an interview where I'm like, hey, you know what? How come this just can't be a phone interview and I'm good, right? But it's, you know, things just don't work out like that. So whenever I fail, or whenever things, shouldn't say fail, whenever things don't go my way, I just sort of look at that experience. Okay, how can I how can I improve, and then try to implement those changes for the next interview or for the next meet.
Emotionally, what is that feeling like?
You can definitely feel defeated. You can definitely feel like, you know, what is going on. I mean, there are times where I've asked, like, how come I can't talk normal, right? How come, you know, why do I have this affliction, And my lady, she always says, this is this has humbled you. I'm like, this is your humbling thing, because if you didn't have the stutter, you would be out of control. So, you know what I mean? So, it definitely, it sometimes it's crushed me, but I gotta say, like, after the TEDx, Terrence, like, I'm just like full steam ahead. You know what I mean? Because it's really given me. I mean, it changed my life in the sense of it's given me this confidence to realize that, look, that's such a small thing, and whatever you want to do, you can do it. You accomplish this, so the next thing that you want to do, you should be able to accomplish it.
Well, it sounds like to me you're changing the narrative, not only
Right.
in the professional world, but in how people stereotype other people as well.
Absolutely.
Because I've seen it in comedy where people,
Yeah.
always constantly mocking them.
Right.
But I've never actually seen a Hollywood character, make it in any type of drama because of stuttering.
You know what's great? What's interesting? So, James Earl Jones has a stutter. Marilyn Monroe had a stutter. Bill Walton has a stutter. Emily Blunt, she has a stutter. Eric LaSalle has a stutter. Kenyon Martin, he has a stutter. So these are really successful celebrities, sports athletes, whatever. I believe Winston Churchill, for all the bad things that he's done, he had a stutter. So, it's learning that people that you may admire, or people who have done great things, had or has a stutter. That's like, okay, so if they can do it, then I can do it, and for me, Terrence, like, that's the thing about the TEDx, man, is like, I didn't, I did it for me, but like wow, people contact me, hey man, like, you really inspired me, like, you made me realize that I can do this, that I can stand up and talk. I mean, that's priceless. You know what I mean? Like, there's no amount of money that can replace someone telling me that I'm an inspiration to them. I mean, that's just, it's crazy.
It's ironic that you say that, because the first thing comes to mind for me is the fact that, right now, today, we have a big issue in schools dealing with bullying.
Absolutely.
So I can imagine for a young kid right now who stutters and can't really express
Right.
how he feel when someone may be
Right.
teasing them. So for me to be able to know you and
Right.
to understand all your accomplishments and your achievements in writing and sharing your stories, a person can't read stuttering.
Not at all. No.
So
No.
to be able to stand before so many different people, is that like something like, wow, like how you take in, like, wait a minute, I really overcame this?
Man, like, so, like, when you're on that TEDx stage, like, it's real, because the logo is behind you dig, and it's like, okay, this is official, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like, so the speech clocked in a little over 10 minutes, but that seems like a long time. You know what I mean? Just to be talking, and the gravity of it. I remember, like, when my fiance, she said, LeRon, I need you to be present of this, because I'm the type of person where I'm thinking about 3 or 4 different things once, because I'm just going and going and going. But she said, I need you to be present for this, because this moment will go away. And so when I was on the stage, Terrence, and I'm just like, damn, like, okay, and people are just like looking at you, you know what I mean? And the main room, I did the TEDx in Wilson Park. It's a part of Florence, Alabama, beautiful part of the country, and we did it in this building called the main room. which is a part of the University of Northern Alabama. And so the main room was packed. I think, it was like filled to the gills. And I'm like, okay, so like everyone's like looking at me. And I just remember like, look, like have eye contact, don't look down, and just sort of, look at everybody, but don't look at them though. It's just like, okay, this is just like a sea of people, And no, man, it's real. So, just like I did a speaking engagement last month. It was with two of my colleagues, Sean Haynes and Karen Fleshman, and this room was packed. And I'm just like looking at people, and I'm just like, look, you know what? Like, there was no anxiety. I just felt good, and I just started jamming out.
And by the way, I do know Sean Haynes very well.
Yes, all right, nice, good dude, good brother.
Yes,
good
he
brother.
is. He's running for the 17th district. Absolutely.
Vote for Sean.
Absolutely.
Vote for Sean.
Can you offer tips and strategies for other business professionals to, that may be watching in silence, hoping to overcome similar obstacles?
Yeah. First off, you have to understand that things like this is such a small part of who I am, right? I mean, like, I'm a writer, I'm a published author, I'm a speaker, I'm a brother, I'm a son. I teach creative writing in the San Francisco County Jail. So stuttering's like a small part of who I am. I don't let it like overtake me. You dig? Like, I mean, it doesn't define who I am. Secondly, practice. Terrence, for me, and this is something that I know 100%. Like, it's like just like the love of God. I know this. If you practice and if you prepare for something, and if you practice, more than likely you're going to be successful. I'll give you an example. Sometimes I get full of hubris, right? So, sometimes I just think that, I'm the man. I don't need practice, right? I don't need to prepare for this. And so I spoke one day at Glide Church, and, I was going to freestyle it, right? Because, I don't need to prepare for me. Come on now. I got up there, I stumbled, I was stuttering. It was bad. My confidence was super crushed. So I said to myself, you know what? We're not going to take anything for granted anymore. This was before the TED too. And so the next time I got up there, when I knew, it was like a week before, I knew that I was going to go up, because I was going to speak at Glide again. I practiced what I said, and I got up there and I crushed it. So don't let your hubris like overcome you. And finally, just go for it, man. I mean, like, look, we have a finite amount of time on this planet, right? And it's one of those things where last year I got a chance to do some modeling on a runway, right? And so I had very little clothing on. And so I called, like, I was really nervous about it. And so I called my friend, Sarah Ann, and I was like, Sarah Ann, I don't know what I'm gonna do, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, LeRon, no one's really gonna be looking at you like that. Like, yo, like, you're gonna be up there 10, 15 seconds. No one's gonna be paying attention. And so I say that to say that what you think is major, people are not really gonna be paying attention to. Like, I have a stutter. If people, if they deny me a friendship, a business opportunity because of my disability, then that's some place I don't need to be around.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, something that minor. So you're gonna focus on the super minor thing and ignore all of my or your or anybody's like wonderful qualities. I mean, you can just bye. Like, that's not where you need to be. So
That's so true. So when you spoke on creative writing,
Yes,
you're
sir.
doing that in the county jail. Was that something that you wanted to show? Not people that just incarcerated, but yourself and how to give back?
So everything flows through the writing. I'm a writer. Like, it's my favorite thing to do. It's the easiest thing that I know how to do. You know, it's if you ask me like what do you do best, I'm gonna say writing, because it's just something that just comes easy. And so I've always said that the responsibility of a writer, there are three things. Ernest Hemingway once said during his Nobel Prize of writing, he said something to the effect of, try to create something that has not been created, right? That's number one. Number two is to be honest. And I think that when you're writing about something, you have to be honest. And number three, encourage other people to write. So, Terrence, the story is like when I came to the Bay Area in 2012, around, I believe it was 23rd, like around that time, Trayvon Martin, he was murdered. And so I wanted to get involved into the movement. How can I help, stop the killings of unarmed black men? How can I make some sort of impact? And I remember talking with a friend of mine, Marvin K. White. He preaches at GLAD. He's a gifted speaker. Like he's phenomenal. And so I was asking, I was like, I've been going to protests. I've been going to, I've been getting with like organizations. I've been, trying to find my way within the movement. And he said, the movement needs documentarians. So, James Baldwin was not on the ground protesting, but he was documenting what was going on. And so I thought about that, and that's how like my writing sort of went to talking about the experiences of the young black man in America fighting and dealing with racism, white supremacy. And so I still wanted to give back. I was a mentor to a young black man for a couple years, and like all young kids, he didn't need me anymore. And so I was trying to figure out, I was like, how can I give back? And I've always been passionate about recidivism. Like my lady says, like, that's my favorite word. And I just wanted to, how can I help people in that position? Because again, I'm from Southside Kansas City, where going to jail, it's possible. You know what I mean? It's possible that you could just get caught up. And I wanted to help people tell their story. And so I approached this wonderful organization called 5 Keys. I said, hey, my name is LeRon. I've written about this before. I've spoken about it. I'm really passionate about it. I'd like to teach creative writing. And Terrence, the whole thing is going back to the 3 responsibilities of a writer. That third one, I want to encourage people to write. Like, I'm always telling people, I think you should write this. I think you should write an essay. I think you should do this interview. I think you should write a book. And people inside have stories that need to be told. You know what I mean? Like, there's a great African proverb that goes, I'm probably gonna butcher it, but until the lion tells his tale, the tale will always glorify the hunter, right? And so there's a lot of people like our stories, black men, Latino men, like poor white men, trans people, LGBTQ, just whoever, women of all shades and colors and sizes. Our story is not being told. And so I think that for me, going to the county jail, working with these brothers on how to write poetry, how to write an essay, like I taught Tuesday, and so we were going over metaphors and similes, and I've gotten some of these guys stuff published on Medium, and it's a beautiful thing, man. I just want to show people that writing has just influenced my life, and I want to pass that gift along.
So through your writing in your professional career,
yes, sir,
it has helped you overcome many obstacles.
Absolutely.
With fear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not with doubting yourself,
right,
but more or less with challenging yourself to pursue your goals.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So for you to pass this on, right?
Yeah. What's up?
It allows me to wonder, what's next?
Man, what is next? Connecting with people such as yourself, Mr. McCray. I'm doing another TEDx. I've started writing my third book. I'm really excited about that. It's gonna be about just the life of a young black man. I've also started writing a play, and just grind, man. I mean, just creating, creating, connecting, and just helping those three things, CCH. So,
And what is your actual profession?
I'm a network engineer. I'm a network engineer, and I'm a freelance writer. So I get paid both. You know what I mean? Got to get them dollars. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Well, definitely. It's always a pleasure in having you, and we always welcome you back on the Close the Deal show.
Dude, this has been
Absolutely.
fantastic, man.
I really appreciate you for
All right,
coming on.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Definitely. Before we close this deal, be looking for the Close the Deal business mixer coming soon, where Sophia from Farmers Insurance will enlighten you on how to get the right type of insurance, as well as Tyson's Insurance Agency, Evolution's Travel, and Bunker Lab will be sponsoring the Close the Deal business mixer on December 5th. We would love to hear from you if you have suggestions, questions, or even want to apply to be a guest on the Close the Deal show. Visit us at www.theclosethedealshow.com and be looking for us on Shopify so you can get some Close the Deal show merchandise. Okay, San Francisco Bay Areas in Los Angeles. You can find us every Monday night on cable Comcast on Channel 29 at 8:30. And in Los Angeles, you can find us on Pasadena Media Spectrum Charter Channel 32. And look for the listing of the local time in your local TV station. Worldwide, you can find the Close the Deal show. On YouTube, just type my name, Terrence McCray, or click my picture. Please subscribe, like, and comment on your favorite episode. Take good care, everyone. And don't forget, find the right connection and close the deal. So we're going to close out with some Koala B.